MichaelSteele. MichaelSteele has an inconvenient message for us, but we better heed, because we many times think that just telling the truth, just making people aware that things are going to be just fine. It's not. Let's listen to MichaelSteele, and then we'll take it on the other side.
MichaelSteele, again, thanks to the Dominion filing, what Tucker really thinks about Donald Trump. Quote, after January 6th, trying to thread the needle between the truth and pressure from his viewers and sponsors became even more difficult. Late on January 6th, TuckerCarlson texted with Pfeiffer that Trump is, quote, a demonic force, a destroyer. But he's not going to destroy us. On January 26th, Carlson invited his leading sponsor, Mike Lindell, on his show, where Lindell spouted these same conspiracies on air after previewing them for Carlson staff during a pre-interview. Again, this is mixing the legal exposure that Denver talked about, but this is all of this intentional and willful participation in a lie that, again, is very much at play here. He described Trump as a, quote, demonic force, a destroyer. And the only person who benefits, I guess if Tucker is officially entering the 2024 primary, maybe Tucker benefits, but the only person who benefits from this revision of their own view on January 6th is Donald Trump. Why is that so imperative that he's exposing himself and his company to legal peril by doing this, MichaelSteele?
So there's so much.
Take your time.
So much I want to say about the events of the last 24 hours. And I'm so happy I have my buddy Denver on one side of me and my lawyer, Frank, on the other. Because, oh my gosh, Nicole. So let's begin with the last point. Demonic force. That means Tucker must be possessed, or Tucker's one of those demonic creatures that enable that force. I tend to go for the latter. What we're seeing on so many levels is a preparation. So keep that point in mind, because I want to go back to how you began this conversation. You started off with sound clips of Republicans saying they were anarchists and terrorists. That's what they were then. So what are they now? What changed that makes them patriots, makes them, the saviors, the victims, the martyrs, the sightseers? What's changed in that is this kind of narrative that comes out of this demonic force that's perpetuated by those demonic angels, those demonic sycophants that keep pushing this. This is the great setup. January, what you're seeing Tucker do and what Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, you pick the clown car, the clowns in the clown car, and go from there. They're all doing the same thing. They're setting up the next part of the narrative, whether it is around Donald Trump's potential indictment, whether it's around some other thing that they deem as an appropriate catalyst to perpetuate the violence and to further ferment the noise that somehow they're the victims, that somehow those 1,000 people who've been arrested and charged and many of whom have now been prosecuted and are in jail, that somehow their violence, their behavior was okay. And that needed to be protected because they were doing the right thing. And that those of us who look at that bad behavior and want to call it what it is and hold them accountable for it, that we're wrong. This twisting of the narrative around January 6th has been an ongoing effort, now culminating in the absolute, I think, disgraceful attempt by the speaker to ingratiate himself with the likes of Fox News and Tucker on behalf of President Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene to get the chair that he would give him this evidence, that he would give him this information that could then be cherry picked into nightly narratives to rewrite the story that we all witnessed live on January 6th, to make us believe that somehow we're the fools, that we're the stupid ones, we're the ones who bought the loaf of rotting bread, right? So what we need to do now is gird ourselves against this. And it's going to require something I don't know Americans are prepared to really put into play. And that is an honest assessment that we are screwing ourselves by buying into this craziness. When you look at the Twitter feeds, and you have it, I have it, just look through all the people say, I told you this was a conspiracy. I told you that Donald Trump won the election. That's the BS that they want us to now make real every day, so that when the trigger is finally pulled, in my view, thank you, Tucker. You're the reason why. You're the reason why the next January 6th happens. You're the reason why the next escalation of people responding, because you're telling them by pulling these snippets out that the shaman is the victim, even though I get them on breaking and entering. Because I grew up in D.C. You just don't get to walk in the Capitol, and you damn sure don't get to do it when you break the glass and not pay a consequence for it. So we need to be honest about what's happening and unfolding right now over at Fox, because you're not going to shut it down. The Dominion thing, last point, the Dominion thing, let's be honest. A $1.6 billion judgment is one thing. They're not losing advertisers over at Fox. Tucker Carlson is allowed to stay on the air because the board wants him on the air. The owner wants him on the air because the money's still rolling in. So take a $1.6 billion hit. I'm still making money. I'm good. I'll pay you the $1.6 billion. You want to treble it? Fine. Because that's a week of advertising we're going to get. We can then play more of a victim. So we have to understand how this is 360 here and recognize if we don't step in as citizens and put an end to this, oh, baby, it's not going to be pretty. Going into a presidential cycle with Donald Trump out there beating the drums again? Come on. Just anyway, we got to get it right, because we're getting it wrong right now by letting this perpetuate itself.
He hits the nail on the head. So we better get serious. A lot of people are still thinking, oh, Donald Trump can't win again, and the rest of the world is looking at a whole lot of Americans and saying, from what we see, Donald Trump can win again. So we are a bit hesitant in working with the United States or putting our bags in the United States' hands. We don't know, because Donald Trump, the criminal extraordinaire, the fascist, may win. And then he's a fascist with a whole bunch of power behind him. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number 1, subscribe to our channel, and number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.